Yo, still bills, what's the deal, man? I just dropped my son off at daycare at school. Waiting to see if my boss got something for us to go in and do for the day, man. But peep game, man, we gotta talk about just Andy Ruiz, man, and just how this dude is just content with having a nothingness ass career, bro. Like, despite him being a champion, a former world champion, Dillian White has more accolades under his belt due to the people that he's fought. That's bad. And it's not bad because Dillian White, I mean, I love Dillian White. That's my nigga, man. We'll get into that, next week or whatever. But it's no shot at Dillian White because I fucks with Dillian White. But there's no reason why somebody who has never held a strap should be more decorated than you. It's not like you went through the motherfucking gauntlet to obtain all them belts. And it wasn't like you outclassed the dude that you beat to get him neither. Because that wasn't the case. I literally I've explained it to y'all before, and I just explained it to somebody else as it pertains to Anthony Joshua and that fight with Andy Ruiz. Anthony Joshua completely separated himself within them first 3 rounds of that fight with Andy Ruiz. And he scored a knockdown off of it. He prematurely went in for a kill, got punished for it. It is what it is. We won't take the loss away from, we won't take that win away from Andy Ruiz, but at the same time, you have to be able to properly unpack how the event unfolded. And how that event unfolded was simply a egregious error on Anthony Joshua's behalf. So it wasn't like you did anything that was just like extraordinary. Outside of you saw an opportunity, you capitalized on it. That's good. You know what I'm saying? That's good. But I don't want to hear the term outboxed and none of that bullshit, because that isn't what happened in that fight. And so for you to kind of just be content with where your career is at in the now was kind of like, yo, especially considering that there's still real good fights for you out there. The Ortiz fight is still out there. You're not about to get in there with Herkovich. That's not happening. I mean, Dillian White is still out there. There's some big fights for you out there. You just have to want to go get the shit. And as it's showing right now, you don't seem to want it. You don't seem to want it. Derek Chisora is still out there. There's still good fights for you to have, and you're just content with just being a former world champion. Dog, you ain't fought since you fought Ariola last year. But you just really gonna ride high on the fact that you beat Anthony Joshua, bro, and that's just not the move. That is not the move, man. Like it's lazy, honestly. It's lazy. You're not about to finesse your way to a bigger bag, bro. There's no way Triller is going to give you the type of compensation that you could get for fighting the likes of a Derek Chisora or a Dillian White or a Joseph Parker or somebody along them lines. More meaningful fights that could put you in position to where you could get another title shot, or at least a crack at a more reputable heavyweight. I don't get how people don't understand that you got to go through a gauntlet to get to the price that you want. You dig? This is boxing, man. There's no sport as prestigious as boxing. That includes finances. You dig? Like, no other combatant gets paid on the scale that a boxer gets paid. They have the biggest bank account. They've been around since the 1800s, man. Like, you can't. This has been a business since the 1800s. 200 years. And you think you just gonna finagle some, like, no, it's no. You could really take the fact that you were a former world champion and parlay that into something meaningful. You had a comeback fight with Areola last year. You could have finagled that into some, I don't see how, but you did 100, I think it was like 150, whatever with that. You know, there's somebody out there that's willing to see you fight. Now you take that and you pair it with somebody that, you know, an opponent that has a loyal fan base that's willing to see him fight, and we got action. Don't nobody know who no Tyrone Sprong or Strong is. He's a former kickboxer. Like, man, what are you doing? This is the move? This is really the move. Like, I don't understand with you, man. I do not get it. I don't understand how this shit is logical in y'all heads, man. Like, yo, oh man, I'm finna come up right here. I'm finna come up, Triller. Like, bro, I don't think so. Nobody is giving a fuck about this fight. I would have much rather see you versus Luis Ortiz or somebody like that than to fight this dude. This is not a step back. This is a mile and a half back. This is you already 10 minutes late for work, and you know 2 and 3 exits away from the exit that you need to take to be on the street to pull into the job. This is what that is. And the fact that you content with it is just bothersome to me, man. It's like, yo, you had all the momentum. It's like you really just lost focus after you gained them titles, man. And we thought that you regained focus after you lost them because you went on that massive weight loss, which was dope. But what are you doing in the... It's just complacency, man. You got super complacent when you beat Joshua because you thought you arrived. You didn't want to get that man a rematch because you knew what it was about to be. You didn't train. You didn't even attempt to train for it. You didn't even make an attempt to train for it. Joshua stayed hungry when he lost to you. And he's staying hungry after he got schooled by Usyk. And he's going and he's getting that rematch. A rematch that he might well lose again. He just might lose that rematch. But the fact that he's still willing to, you know, apply himself, man, it's like that. Like, I don't get why you're not on that type time. You know, it's just weird to me, man. It's weird to me, man. Y'all are in a game where you motherfuckers are risking your livelihood. So if it, you know, go for the gusto, man. Do something to, you know, be remembered. Because the memorable fights is what's going to open up the paydays for y'all. Y'all be looking for these little shortcuts to get to the bag, bro, and that's just not the move. You tarnish your legacy. And what happens if you lose? That's what y'all don't get, man. These tune-ups, eventually, one of them is going to catch up with y'all. And you're going to be sitting there looking stupid like, yo, I just really lost to a tune-up. You know what I'm saying, man? Like, this shit ain't cool. This shit ain't cool at all. You fighting some nobody. A former kickboxer, bro. Like, at least the very give it. You've been inactive. All right, cool, man. Jarrell Miller is back. Why can't you look to line something up with him? There's a multitude of heavyweights that's at your disposal right now that would love to fight you. And that would be good fights. But here you are fighting Tyrone, I don't even, Sprong or something. Sponge, or, I don't know. And I'm not trying to, you know, I ain't trying to clap at the dude or nothing like that, man. But for what it is that you've done in the sport, which, you know, it ain't vast, but you've accomplished something that a lot of fighters don't get to accomplish, which was being not just a world champion, but a unified world champion. You dig? You've accomplished that. The resume and who you went on and who you fought, that isn't vast. But you stepping in with Joseph Parker and Anthony Joshua, those were some of the top heavyweights. For you to get in there and stop Anthony Joshua and have a controversial loss against not Andy Ruiz, but Joseph Parker, that's dope. So for you to go and fight a Tyron, whoever, and right after you fought Cristobal Arreola, that ain't the move, homie. And you just have you have no quarrels with being stagnant. It's like you don't even want to become you don't want to become a 2-time world champion. That's not on your itinerary to be a champion again and to fighting meaningful fights. You just don't give a fuck about none of that. You cool with that. You cool with just being, oh man, I'm chilling, man. I don't need to go and fight. I don't need to be a champion again. I'm good. You cool with that. Just the level of complacency, man. This is weird. This is just weird. You're not getting to a certain month. You're not getting to a certain dollar amount without fighting the competition necessary to get there. It is not gonna happen. It is not gonna happen. You can formulate whatever talking points you can to try to justify this fight. It's not gonna happen, man. I seen my man Correa, ILTBA, talking about, I'd rather see this than Ortiz. I don't. I don't want to see that shit, because Luis Ortiz is at least a name and has a reputation. Just on his reputation alone, if you beat Luis Ortiz, that's at least gonna somewhat be like, shit, he beat Ortiz. Even though Ortiz isn't as accomplished as you, Ortiz isn't really an accomplished heavyweight at all, but at least he has the skill set and the rankings and the status to at least paint a different picture for you than you beating a Tyrone Tyrone. I'm just calling him that because I don't want to make it seem like I'm clapping at him, because I don't know, I don't know his last name. But it just ain't a good look, man. It ain't a good look. It's corny. That's all I got to say about it, man. I'm out.